Welcome back to Less Than Geek. My name is Travis,
And I'm Peyton.
and this is our coverage of the final match from the store championship that was at Cool Stuff Games in Jacksonville, Florida, on March 29th. On the left, we have Steve with the Decimator Interceptor build there. So he's got Chiraneau with veteran instincts, a gunner, an engine upgrade, Darth Vader, and Ysanne Isard as all the crew members there. And that is paired up with Soontir with Push the Limit, Autothrusters, and Stealth Device.
In the title, of course, to play
Right.
both of those. Soontir basically replacing a Phantom.
More or less, yeah.
And I am on the right, playing my double aggressor list, B and C, the gunner and the free evade when boosting. They got Autothrusters, Inertial Dampeners, Mangler Cannon, Push the Limit, Advanced Sensors, and IG 2000 title.
Yep. So you're at 98 points, and I think Steve was also at 98.
Yeah, we had to roll for initiative.
Nice.
And we're kind of just talking about some of the maneuvers we did earlier because this is a rematch from earlier in the tournament.
So you had two rematches in the elimination game.
Yeah.
It was a fairly small tournament, so that's bound to happen.
Yeah, and then, you play one person, you beat them once, and then they proceed to win out the rest of the games, and they come right back into finals.
Yep.
But they're not normally too happy to see you again. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you just beat me.
And of course, Steve's another member of the Less Than Geek team here, and the defending regional champion from last year. So yeah, he clawed his way back in there. Actually, well, you guys played it. Whenever you played, you were 1-2.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, because I think Steve was.
I think it was the
He had
next
the
to
early
last round before the cut.
Right. I think Steve was in the lead early on because he had the modified win against Gage or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but then ended up being undefeated. So
my setup is pretty standard every game. The one that's further away near the edge of the board is always slightly forward compared to the one near the middle. It's mostly so that if I need to, I can ram them into each other to basically stop them from moving. Like one will inertial dampener and the other one will just ram into the back of them. So I can kind of trick my opponent.
Do you always
pretty
put
early
the
on.
same one in the same spot or something?
No, I imagine some people try to, like they want to not have their gunner guy blow up.
Right.
So they kind of keep him back, but I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't really pay that much attention.
You just slap them down.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they rarely die, to be honest.
Yeah, and they move, just so wildly and all over the place that it just seems like, if they're trying to focus one, I don't know, they're gonna go after whichever one is closest to them, usually.
And you pull the corn horn maneuver where if they actually strip the shields off one, you basically bug out with them. You boost and then do a 3 straight, and you're pretty far out.
Yeah, it's hard to stay on them.
And have the other one, pecking at them if they actually try to, follow.
So in this matchup, we have the high pilot skill. Well, both his ships are high pilot skill and higher than the aggressors as it was all day.
Yeah.
But in the case of Soontir there, so you have the super evasive, arc dodging, dangerous ship there. The exact kind of ship that is more or less almost like a hard counter to the aggressors. But instead of having maybe like a all interceptor build or 2 with a Phantom or something, so that it's nothing but that, it's paired with the Decimator, which has been a popular archetype with just a Phantom instead of Soontir basically for quite a while now. Going into just back into Wave 5 before the aggressors and auto thrusters and everything, and that kind of plays out to your advantage though, because just having that instead of a couple more interceptors or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that gives you one target that, even though he's moving after and probably occasionally boosts out of firing arcs, when you do shoot at him, you're really landing damage on there.
Well, he does have, kind of an anti-evasive build on Chiraneau with the gunner and Vader.
Right.
But that doesn't really work as well against aggressors who have, that added benefit of 4 shields.
Yeah.
And 4 hull.
Yeah, it's just like, using Vader even against Phantoms, it just always feels a little less tempting, because you're like, well, I'm just going to be Vader off a shield or 2 here. It's still worth it because they have such a low total amount of hit points, but of course, like the juiciest target is other interceptors. But yeah, when you gotta slug through 4 shields, like by the time you get that down, especially if you're Vadering yourself a lot, you're gonna be dead. With the decimator. But the other thing is that once the initial few shields that the decimator has get knocked off, which inevitably happens pretty quick, then you're just piling crits up with those Mangler cannons.
Yeah. I've played against several decimators this tournament, and every one of them had at least half their damage cards were crits, just because they're just taking a crit every time I shoot at them.
Right, and especially if they have Isard in there, so that they're taking less damage per attack, they're taking less damage like per turn, and she's still good to have. You still want to have that, but because they would just be dead faster anyway. But it still means that those crits just pile up because, of course, if they evade some damage and you roll poorly and only 1 hit gets through, it's always a crit, with the Mangler. So that's how you can have like 7 or 8 damage on a ship but have like 5 crits in there.
Did some interesting attacks in the last game where I had both aggressors range 1 on Soontir and the decimator at range 3, and so I took my range 1 shots with the aggressors and they dealt no damage. So my second shot, I always just did a range 3 pot shot at the decimator, critting it.
Yeah.
Because you can switch targets because it's a new attack.
Yeah.
For if you missed your first shot, because range 1ing Soontir and then not stripping any tokens off and then having to knock yourself down to 1 less attack because you're using Mangler now, it's a pretty bad situation.
Yeah. So you're saying, with your range 1 shots, you didn't even get him to spend his tokens.
Like
at least if he did that, it would be tempting to continue to shoot him.
Well, it's even harder with Soontir because if he has both focus tokens,
if he had 3 tokens,
then even stripping 1 token off is not
right
guaranteeing anything.
Okay, so and here he's beginning the arc dodging and the getting of the tokens.
Yeah, but he did have to token up a little bit because that other one he couldn't really get out of the arc of completely.
Yeah, well, he's still in pretty good shape with 2 out of 3 tokens, so only 1 shot at him. But it looks like you might just go for the decimator and get the sure thing here. Because I don't think he can, he's probably contemplating boosting forward, but it doesn't look like he'll get out of arc if he does that.
Yeah. I even contemplate, or I even ask as to whether or not Soontir is in arc of the other ship, and then I go, well, I don't care, I'm shooting the decimator.
Right.
Because I felt like that I needed to take out the decimator before I lose all my shields and he starts Vadering my hull.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, especially because Soontir is just at such an advantage against these ships. If he drops one of them, even if it comes down to a 1-on-1 with Soontir and one of them, you're definitely having an uphill battle there. So we're starting shots here.
Yeah. I can't Autothruster because it's range 2.
Yeah, and you're in the arc.
Yeah, so I end up just taking 1 damage, which it's not a terrible thing to do because he's got the gunner, anyways. But he had 3 hits.
Here's a weird tidbit in a situation like this. So, for Autothrusters, you don't get the benefit if you're in arc and range 2 or less. But with these large turreted ships, there's a weird situation where. So a turret ship, you always measure, if you're just measuring total distance, total range, you always measure closest point to closest point, period.
Yeah.
So closest point to closest point there is range 2. But even, let's say if his firing arc doesn't cross your base until your back corner, and that's range 3, so if it was a normal ship that didn't have a turret and that happened, it would be a range 3 shot, right? Because it's what is in arc.
Yeah.
But with these ships, even if that's the case, even if that's what's in arc, but then the distance, closest point, range 2, you don't get the Autothruster.
Yeah, it's still considered a range 2 shot. So
yeah. It's just kind of a really weird situation that can spring up with the turreted ships.
Yep. And here's the old thing I hate. I roll 1 hit against the decimator, so guess what? He's only taking 1 damage.
Yep.
Because he's not even getting the range 3 bonus if I was shooting a range 3.
Yep.
So both my ships end up taking 1 damage, and so does the Decimator. Takes only 1 damage. And
which is
suddenly,
a victory for him.
Yeah, suddenly I'm feeling not too confident already.
Yeah, he doesn't get that opportunity to screw himself by accidentally avoiding the 1 hit so that you can roll 3.
Yeah, and I get the range 1 shot right here, but...
Oh, so Soontir is still in arc.
Yeah, he didn't get all the way out. He got out of arc of the other one. But his front got clipped on mine. But it doesn't do any damage because he evades the first one. I reroll Gunner with only 3 rolls and only get 2 hits, and he gets 3 evades and doesn't take any damage.
Yeah.
He's basically here. He's like, which token do I use?
Right, because you're going to shoot 1 more time.
Yeah, because he's obviously not going to like avoid it to not take the Gunner, because one of those is going to be a crit because it's, a Mangler.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it wasn't a Mangler shot, but I got a crit, so...
Right.
So it's not like he's going to take 1 crit. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, non-Soontir.
Yeah, so he's like, should I use the focus?
Yeah, it would have been interesting, I guess, if... So you're saying the bottom aggressor doesn't have arc?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the one that ended up shooting the Decimator anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the second shot.
2 hits.
Yeah, hitting a crit.
Yeah, and then he... Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, so he just
plus
needs,
the token.
like, 2 symbols.
Yeah, plus the token. He's out of there.
Yeah, well, that would have been a dirty time to have a whole bunch of blanks.
That would have been a massive... That would have basically been game right there if he had taken like any damage, because then he loses his stealth device.
Yeah.
And suddenly, losing the stealth device against this matchup is basically death. It's tantamount to death.
There's so many terrible crits that Soontir could get because they ruin his entire play style.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets double stressed right there, that's horrible.
Yeah, I'm just gonna K-turn and blast him.
Yeah, if you get pilot skill 0, then that's terrible, especially against these, because then they would be boosting and dancing around him, kind of correcting where they want to be around him.
Mm-hmm.
The injured pilot gets sort of push the limit and his extra focus, but he wouldn't really be getting stressed anyway without push the limit. So there's so many terrible, plus the stealth device. It's just he never likes crits. So there's one thing you have going for you with that at least when you shoot at him, you're using Manglers. So if something ever finds a way to sneak through there, he's going to be hosed.
So basically, I pulled the boost into an S loop on one, and then on the next one, advanced sensors for 1 action, can't push because I'm K-turning with both of them.
Right.
It's basically because I know where that Decimator is going. Basically, it's not going to be whipping out K-turns because it can't. Yeah,
so you're expecting it to take a hard turn through, like, into the middle of the field there through the asteroids.
And then just because of my positioning, even if it doesn't, I still can pretty reliably get maybe some range 3 pot shots at Soontir. Granted, range 3 pot shots are basically the worst thing to do ever, but
right. Yeah, I mean, at least you have the Manglers. He gets 1 less green at range 3, and then if like I said, if something lands, it's a crit, so it's devastating. But Autothrusters and stealth device. So.
And then Steve basically uses those extra, boost barrel roll to get way out of range.
Just to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, I guess he's still thinking about doing a second action on
as to whether or not to barrel roll or.
Right.
Those future turns, do you want to stretch yourself with a push and then not have your dial open on the next round?
Yeah, and like in a lot of situations here against a lot of ships that far away, like this is a turn where he knows he's not getting shot, he could not push a limit, and then on the next turn just do a K turn down to the bottom of the map and probably still be like out of range. So the lacking the actions wouldn't hurt, and then on the next turn he's going to green maneuver back in range and be fine. But those aggressors just move so fast. Like even compared to other large ships, since they're stressed. So you're just thinking about how far can they really go. But having those like 3 banks be green, they could just run them down. And range 3 is good enough on them with the Manglers. So
this is the worst shot in the entire game, which is range 3 through a rock out of arc at an aggressor.
That's something with an Autothruster, yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of gunnering for no effect.
Right.
Because this first one's certainly not going to hit.
Yeah, and this is where, he has that choice where he could be...
could be Vadering.
Could be Vadering on all these attacks, but it just would be hitting shields. And
And I would definitely not be doing it right now because he still has shields on his
Yeah.
Decimator. I would at least wait until you're already, in the Isard getting.
I suppose if he did it this turn, because he has just 1 damage on the Decimator still.
Yeah.
If he did it that turn and he took 4, he would be at exactly enough damage to start triggering Isard.
Mm-hmm.
Without like kind of missing out on her. Not really a big thing. It's probably still better just to not do it. But it's worth mentioning. It's so discouraging to just be hitting shields on the aggressor with it, and then then you lose the Decimator like a turn sooner, because of it or something, and then the aggressors still have half their health left.
Yeah, and this is kind of how my formation normally works, where I kind of we do our passing shots, and then I'm already turned around. Mm-hmm. It's like it's basically just trying to regroup.
I will say this though about where the Decimator went. So, he did not do the hard turn kind of into your guns there.
Yeah, so I
that
didn't
was
get the shot.
Good on his part, I guess. He did go straight though, and I guess maybe he's trying to kind of stay near Soontir, where he plans to go with him. But it would have been interesting if he actually had done the hard turn the other way, from where he was before,
away from the fight.
Yeah, and because if you think about like if his plan was to do that for a couple turns, like on the next turn he could turn that same way again.
Yeah,
and
still be out of my arc.
Yeah, still be out of your arc and still be close enough to shoot. Like if you picture him back over towards where he's sitting, he'd still be in range of that back aggressor.
There's a argument to. I actually think about it now. I probably shouldn't be evading here.
Right.
It's going to be out of arc.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be range 3. I should have just been target locking.
Right.
On the Decimator.
Yeah, especially if you did. Yeah, if you boost, you're getting the evade, but you weren't boosting.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he just did a 1 bank, so that was just an evade the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
You're hiding in the corner.
It's like I'm always thinking about damage mitigation, even if I really don't need it. Like the focus is more than enough to avoid most damage.
Yeah, and that's just something that you get in the habit with if you play them more. It's the same thing with Dash, especially when a lot of people start playing them, where they'll use all his actions to boost and barrel and move and dance all around, even when they don't need to. Like they're already out of arc and moving last or whatever.
Yeah,
they're already far enough away to not get blocked on the next round, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some, it's like they're just so used to doing it, and it's like the coolest thing in the world to do it over a bunch of asteroids and stuff. They just keep doing it, and then they'll throw 4 attack dice and roll a bunch of blanks and not do anything. And they could have like focused and target locked and boom. Yeah. So you just got to get a feel for it. But
this is actually a great position for me because it's range 3, and both my guys actually have the Decimator in range.
Yeah,
it's those little pointy edges of getting the range 3 shots.
Yep, them big ships with their corners.
While Soontir continues to
just
point like he's trying to get out of there.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to get caught by those cannons. So you're hanging out in the asteroids here, just kind of turning all around them.
That's my home.
Yeah, just sneaking through them. Did you hit an asteroid with one of these all day?
Yeah. Like at some point during the tournament, I definitely landed on one. At one point, I think it was because my opponent landed where I was going to land.
So I
chain bonked backward. Yeah,
yeah,
but for the most part, I was always in the asteroid field because everyone was always higher power skill than me. So limiting opponents, movement options,
right,
is like my go-to thing. That's why I head towards the asteroids.
Yeah, that's probably the really key thing here. Like, there's definitely I've seen a couple times in these videos where that seemed like it, was screening you. And, you have to do that against the higher skill, like you said. But a lot of people would probably, you have to get used to it with these aggressors. Especially if you're just starting to play them or something.
Yeah.
With all their weird turning and stuff. And just having a large-based ship where you have to rely on the firing arc. A lot of people are going to be running into asteroids and stuff with them. Or just shy away from going in there to use them to their advantage. And they'd be fighting out in the open. And having some of these guys just dance all around them and destroy them quickly.
It's the boost definitely helps a lot more because I can basically dial in maneuver that won't land me on a rock already, but that possibly the boost would get me even better position.
Right.
So that I can try the boost before I do the maneuver. That normally happens a lot with K turns. if I'm doing it like a regular 4K turn, I normally have like 2 areas I could land in, and depending on which direction I get to boost, if I can boost at all, I get different angles for my arcs.
I noticed he rolled 2 green dice there.
Yeah, I completely forgot
about the cannon. Yeah. But it looks like these.
It was the only time I forgot about it too.
It looks like the aggressors are succeeding in piling on the damage at a pretty decent rate anyway on that decimator already.
Yeah, I mean, decimator took 5 damage on that turn and got stun pilot and damage engine.
So the first 2 cards on it are crits.
Yeah,
seems about right.
Yeah, that's your.
So if his hard turns are now red on a ship that, granted it's a turret and everything, but it can't K turn, so that's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
The decimator does do a lot of hard turns just to like go around the board though, and just to stay in the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the worst. But so he has that, and then he also has the if he overlaps anything, he takes automatic damage. So with both of your ships, they're getting pretty close to him here, and they're all large bases and stuff.
Yep.
It looks like you're basically going to just bonk him right here.
Yeah, go for the block. It's weird. It's a weird feeling when you're using a 2-ship build, and one of them is trying to bonk.
Right.
But it's also like it's a great way to take Soontir out of the fight more.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks like you might be able to block him, and then
because I knew I was gonna stop at least his 3 maneuvers. So if I definitely wanted to make sure he was in an arc at least one of my ships, because I didn't want him engine boosting completely out of arc.
Yeah,
that's exactly like the worst possible scenario.
Yeah, which could have been a possibility maybe. Soontir looks like he'll be in a pretty good spot though with that 2 hard.
Yeah, but Soontir's normally in a pretty good spot regardless of what I do.
I guess he's doing it 3s. He wasn't already stressed.
Yeah, he had an open dial.
Yeah, but that's what's interesting about it. Like if you look,
earthquake.
Yeah, there's a Florida earthquake there. We don't have those very often.
Mm-hmm.
Just someone stumbling over the camera. It's probably Steve going around to look at barrel rolling or something.
Yeah, his angles, because you can tell he's not on the side of the on his side of the board.
What was interesting about that there is you would think, you maybe just want to do like a 1 hard with Soontir, and you would basically already be in the position more or less that he is now.
Yeah,
but that just shows. Yeah, it just highlights the range of motion that the aggressors have, because he did that 3, more or less basing that off of where he thought the aggressor would be, and that's kind of how it would be if it didn't do such a fast maneuver and then boost also, or whatever. So it went so far that he had to barrel back to catch it.
Yeah, because realistically, if I had not boosted, they would have both been in, or Soontir would have been in both their arcs.
Yeah.
But then he could have just barreled to the right and been out of one of their arcs.
Yep. And
like I said, it didn't really matter.
There's a damage on the decimator. It's almost like the ramming decimator. It's not that decimator. It's almost like he just rammed himself.
Yeah.
And he's getting a range of 1 on that aggressor, huh? But with Autothrusters active.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big problem. He does end up landing a damage though.
Nice. Looks like he might have forgotten to put down his free evade for Isard. So this is the first turn she's been active, so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
He probably thought that since he rammed, he forgot that he still gets the Isard action because that's after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're not stressed at the beginning of the combat, you'll get it. So there's the gunner.
No, it's Soontir.
Oh, it's Soontir. Okay, on the other one. Yeah.
And Soontir ends up doing no damage.
Right. Yeah, that one had tokens to avoid it and everything.
Yeah.
And he was rolling blanks there, so he couldn't focus.
No, he also wanted to keep the focus because I was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
I could shoot him with the other one.
That too.
Okay, see, he gets the foot token and then takes it off. So
close enough.
Yeah. Didn't remember it, but then but he still takes the damage.
Yeah. That's is there another crit on that thing yet?
No.
I'm sure it's coming then.
Yeah.
It seems like it would have had to be if he took a damage, but I guess unless that canceled it, right? Because then you would have been shooting again.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were that many crits on it, even after that. Probably just didn't change the die or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one in front of the decimator, it seems like it's in a good position where like you would want to do the S turn, kind of like to behind where the decimator is, but you can't because you're stressed.
Yeah,
Because that seems like it would be ideal right now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
obviously I can't do that, so I'm just gonna zip around.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Without the K-turn part.
The same template there. Yeah, just you're pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And then the other one did the advanced sensors, push the limit, dampeners to just immediately get 2 stress.
Yep.
Yeah, you look like he's probably in a good spot to at least catch the decimator, maybe surprise Soontir.
Yeah, it was the reason I pushed the limit is because I figured Soontir was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
So I need that evaded.
Yeah. Need to have all the tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even still, even if it's a little bit of a surprise to him, after Soontir does his actions, his barrel rolling and boosting and stuff, he might be able to, weasel his way out of it anyway.
Well, the good thing is
maybe not.
He still has to, use all of his actions to get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, if he does get out of the way and he's not getting shot at all, it's still fine for him though, because he's still gonna have a focus for offense, and as long as he's not getting shot, it's fine. But I guess since he didn't, I kind of expected him to either do like a 2 bank there or something, or to go maybe a little faster if he was doing the straight to do like a 3 or a 4. So I'm not sure with that 2 there he's gonna be able to get all the way at arc.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't, I'm still just shooting at the decimator.
Yeah, you're looking. I'm assuming he's gonna barrel roll
forward
to the right there.
Yeah, forward to the right.
And yeah, I guess that does get him out. And he should probably still have arc on your.
Yeah, he gets the
back.
The back.
Mm-hmm. There we go. And now the decimator, though. And here it looks like the decimator is also a threat to. Yeah, if he does like a 3 bank and then boosts, he could maybe get out of arc.
I think he's too fat.
Yeah.
To use that word.
Hard to tell since he's going straight.
There's somebody who's not playing messing with a laser.
Right. And now, yeah, that boost is awfully close to
it might be out of range.
Fishtailing off the board there.
Yeah. And, I mean, it could get him out of range, but, yeah, again, it could also send him off.
Yeah. I've stared at a lot of 1 bank boosts near the edge of the board with dash like that, and it's always in your head. It's a little bit harder. I mean, you can see the base under there kind of, but that thing's such a huge model, it's hard to tell exactly.
And then we're checking for range 3. He gets... he's got to decide whether to use focus tokens.
Yep. Well...
I mean, he's not getting evade.
Yeah, it's range 3, so he can't use... He hasn't... I don't think he's been able to use the built-in ability from Chiraneau once yet.
But auto thrust for 3 evades, so he gets a gunner.
Yep. Yep. It's so hard to push damage through those things.
Yeah, 2 hits and 2 evades after the auto thrust. Because I'm only rolling 1 evade dice. It's not like my evade dice are on fire.
Right.
But it's also 1 blank, so no damage.
So, that aggressor's probably the one that you can see the card in the frame there that has a damage on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One mighty hit on it.
Yep.
So, yeah. Again, he could be... he could have Vadered, 4 times by now? And, have that thing maybe kind of beat up for Soontir to try to finish. But by the same token, he'd be down to... I think the Decimator would be pretty much dead at that point if he'd been doing that.
The problem is also that Soontir is not pulling his weight. He just attacked and got 1 hit.
Yeah.
Which, is laughably evaded.
Right.
Especially since I had an evade token.
Yeah, he didn't even have to use the tokens.
Nope. He got 1 hit and I got 1 evade. It's not hard.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, through all the shots with the gunner and everything, 3 shots, basically.
Yep,
you still didn't have to use the tokens. You didn't even have to use the focus when you attacked. You just rolled hits.
Yep. Then I end up getting the -1 primary on the Decimator. Yep.
Yep. That is going to make him even more useless.
Yeah, so now he's...
At that point, he feels like he should just start Vadering because he's just not ever going to do anything else.
Spoiler alert, that's what he does.
Right.
He was already saying when he still had full attack that this is useless shooting at him.
Right.
This is me checking for boost.
Right. When it's safe to just
I can legally just throw down that template basically.
Right. There you go. There's an asteroid there. I will not be doing a 1 bank next turn.
Yep. And I had double stress already, so I don't care about flying over an asteroid.
Yep.
Except for obviously possible damage.
Yeah. Well, it'll be. If it does do a damage, it'd be as much as he's done to you the whole game.
Yep. And it wasn't damaged.
Nope.
He's technically done 2. No, 3.
There's one on each?
Yeah, no,
the other one has a couple?
C's got 2 and B's got 1.
Gotcha. Alright, so Soontir, I'm assuming, is just going to do the hard turn and try to, hang out behind this guy here and just blast him.
Continue to, drop 4 attack dice on him every turn.
Yeah, it looks like he can get that barrel roll, get that nice range 1 shot, and slip out of the arc of the bottom one.
The problem is he can't fit.
He can't fit there?
Nope.
Oh, man.
No room at the end.
That would be just so perfect.
Yeah.
Well.
So now he gets...
That's tough because he's not going to boost onto that rock, so, yeah.
And then all of the only shot he, has is, a range 3 against an aggressor with Autothrusters.
Basically just token up and do that. That was a game of inches right there. A game of millimeters. Yep. That's a huge swing if he gets that because it looks like, assuming the Decimator does something like I guess it's going to have to do a hard turn to stay on the board, even if he gets stressed for doing it. So, if he did that, if he was able to do that with Soontir and then turn in with the Decimator, you're talking about all those range 1 shots, even though the Decimator is pretty gimped.
Yep.
And, if he starts committing to Vadering, that I guess one little problem with having the Veteran Instincts on the Decimator in this build is it's shooting first ahead of Soontir. So, let's say Soontir had been able to pull that off and he blasts you for 4 dice with a focus at range 1 and let's say, actually gets a decent hit on you because you don't have any tokens, blasts 2 or 3 of your shields off and then, the Decimator does another hit, Vader would be able to crit the actual hole.
Yeah.
If not for the Veteran Instincts on the Chiraneau. Because you'd be shooting after Soontir,
I mean, I assume it's, the anti-Phantom play.
It is. And, you definitely, it was one of those things where, he wanted all the other pieces, for sure. So then he only had 3 points left, basically, with that elite pilot slot. So he could have put Predator on there, and that would have worked out pretty well.
2 hits, 2 Vader.
But then, you're running at exactly 100 points. You have no initiative bid with Soontir, which is rough against other Soontirs and Whispers and stuff. So there's that. Plus, I guess the only other option is, he could have gone with Determination. But, yeah, Veteran Instincts makes it super nice against the Phantom. Because even though he's got Gunner, if the Phantom did have a bunch of dice, and he's got Vader for that option, it's kind of like we've been saying this whole game, and we were saying earlier, it's less appealing to be Vadering the shields and stuff.
Yeah, but he does end up Vadering the shield off right there.
Yeah, just because now he doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah,
but
double whiffed.
But just from planning out the build and going into this tournament, that sort of thing, it's like with Vader, it's like you're set up to deal with the other interceptors. With Veteran Instincts, you're set up to deal with the Phantoms. In ideal situations, and then if it's going to be the difference, obviously you can Vader if it's going to be a killing blow or whatever. It's all situational, and then your plan isn't exactly to combine Gunner and Vader to be able to do it twice in one round, but it's still an option.
Yeah.
So it does have all that going for it. It just looking back, it is a little annoying that it has to shoot before Soontir it doesn't set up Vader as well.
Yeah. Plow into the Decimator again and give him another -1 to his primary because he needed that, and also a stress token, so Isard won't work if he doesn't clear it.
Yeah, and I guess this is a situation where one of the crits was forgotten because he should be double stressed. Is he?
He did the hard. Yeah, there.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't. He couldn't find another stress.
Oh, I gotcha.
He was like, "Where's my other stress?" Because he didn't even have the evade token. He just. He couldn't find another stress, so he's stealing my crappy wooden one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always bring a few extra stress tokens than the number of ships I have or whatever these days because they're just in that case it was just cards. It was just weird that it happened that way. It wasn't something that you had that deals out extra stress.
Yeah, I deal my own stress with inertial dampeners.
Right. But there's a lot of things you just run across these days, like Rebel Captive or people trying to do tacticians or marriage, whatever. There seems like there's a lot of stuff that just tries to give out extra stress or the droid or whatever. So, sometimes you have that guy that's been shooting a Rebel Captive and has 3 or 4 stress. Yeah, so I always bring extras. And
let's try to get past
him.
him.
Not quite get there, yeah.
It's not
that
terrible.
Seems like it kind of works out for you, though, because now you'll potentially have a shot on him.
Yeah, exactly. He's not terrible. And the other option would have been him ramming me, basically.
Yeah.
Which, that would deal damage.
Yeah, I guess the worst case scenario is if you barely cleared and then he does a big enough maneuver to like kind of jump past you but not be right in front of you.
Yeah, well the idea is that, I could technically, if I got in front of him, that ship this maneuver was going to give him the shot.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't blocking him and I couldn't get a shot, so I was just like, I'm just going to boost.
Yeah.
Set up my maneuver for next turn.
Uh-huh. Get around the rock.
I'm not even going to push because I'm probably going to hard turn.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. I guess you could maybe do like a one soft and then, like basically 2 1-softs with the boost. But
now that maneuver surprised me when Steve pulled that off. I was like, where are you going?
Yeah. I guess he, wanted to clear the stress, of course.
Yeah.
And I maybe thought like doing it too hard, towards the side of the board where all the ships are was going to clip that asteroid.
Yeah, it's possible.
So, too hard or too banks, and then he's left stuck going straight, basically.
Well, he already knows what's happening with this decimator.
Oh, yeah.
Because Vadering itself will kill it.
Oh, yeah.
So guess what he's doing?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only option he has at this point. So he throws his mighty 1 attack die, because if 3 dice haven't been getting it done, that 1.
Don't worry, it was 0 hits, Gunner, 0 hits. And then Vader.
He Vadered you twice?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's...
No, he Vadered me once. He only had 2 health left.
Okay. So basically there wouldn't even have been a second attack if he did it the first time. Yeah. Not that there really was much of an attack anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he's only throwing 1 attack. He can't do anything anyway because you're only throwing 1 attack die. The Autothruster will automatically...
Yeah, Autothrusters.
But I guess unless he rolled nothing but
I ran into him. I could have gotten all eyeballs.
But so that top one that's moving now, its card is the one that's off the screen. They're kind of flip flopped.
Mm-hmm.
So that one has a decent amount of damage on it, right?
Yeah, it's 3.
So it still has a shield.
Mm-hmm.
Good lord. I really thought he did more.
Or no, it's got 4. Yeah, it has no shields,
right,
but no hull damage.
Yeah,
the Vader took off the last shield.
God.
So it's 1 with 3 shields and 1 with no shields versus a full health Soontir. Because basically, once Soontir starts taking damage, he's going to die.
Yeah, that first hit knocking out the stealth device, like we said earlier, and then potentially being a really bad crit. There's if you think about it, like, even a direct hit, at least a direct hit doesn't alter his ability to do things and the way he plays, but obviously puts him right there on the ropes. So there's like almost every crit in the deck is like really bad for him. It's like unless he gets lucky and gets like discard secondary weapon. Yeah.
And I'm basically trying to regroup at this point because I don't want to be getting 1 pot shot a turn.
Yeah, hanging around and having it be kind of a 1-on-1 with the other one on the other side of the map and it is not going to go well for you. He's going to pick him apart. And the other thing is, like, really the closer you stay to him, if you're just trying to, keep turning or something and he's right on top of you, it's easier for him to dance around your arc and stuff if he's right on you.
Yeah.
So, if you're coming in with those wider firing arcs from long range and with both of them maybe kind of overlapping and things like that, he can't weasel out of it as much.
I kind of also want him stressed just so it limits to his position.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's got open dial and then can push the limit, he can get a lot more, tricky with his maneuvers.
Oh, yeah.
So, now that he didn't, because he did a white maneuver that turn, but
yeah,
now he's in the standard Soontir infinite stress loop.
Yeah, I'm wondering why he really bothered with push the limit there. He was already out, and way behind you there, out of your arcs, so he could have just focused.
Maybe he's just trying to get in range too. I mean, obviously he doesn't need the focus to for defense. I can't shoot at him.
Yeah, I'm just saying he could have just done a focus and shot at you, but I guess he was just trying to kind of cover ground, get around or whatever.
Yeah, he wants to get range 1 as quick as possible. Because at this point, he's like, man, range 3 is just a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a time match, so we want to leave at this point. Because
right.
they're already closing the store down behind us.
Yeah, that seems to happen at just about every store championship or whatever in the final table.
Yeah,
well, the other thing is, like, they didn't start this tournament till, I guess, I was thinking it was really late for some reason, like 2 or 3, but I guess they started at like 1. So that's fairly standard, but it wasn't a huge tournament. I mean, if they had 20 some odd people and we're doing like 2 more rounds because of that or something, then they would have really been hating life.
No, actually, the store employees don't hate life because they're just getting paid overtime.
Right.
Neither of them were the store owner, so.
Right. It's a franchise anyway, so it'd be somebody in Orlando getting angry about the timesheets probably.
Yep.
But so this game ended up taking probably about 2 hours or something. No,
it was about an hour and a half, hour 40.
Yeah, that's still.
I mean, it's because this situation right here, where it's everyone on the board has 3 evasion dice.
Yep. They've all got 3 dice and all thrusters if it's long range. And they get extra tokens. Yep.
Well, the range 3 is still at my advantage because I have the Mangler cannon, but it's still kind of a waste of time to shoot at range 3.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. At least he gets auto thrusters. Like, you both have auto thrusters if any shots are range 3. Yep. And he doesn't get that range 3 extra green if you're shooting with the Mangler, but you do if he's shooting at you. And he's got a stealth device anyway, so these are just super evasive ships that already do nothing but arc dodging in the first place.
Yep.
And I guess maybe that's why they're all sitting here at the final table.
And if your favorite thing is do not watch damage for the next couple of rounds, then
get ready, hold on to your butts.
Tuck yourself in, because here comes a bunch of not damage.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah. Now, I won't say that Soontir doesn't start putting hurt on him, but it gets pretty demoralizing. All these like range 2 shots that you would think would at least land 1 damage.
You're talking about shooting at Soontir or him shooting at you?
Him shooting at me, because I haven't shot at him. I haven't shot at Soontir like once.
Yeah, that's true. He's always.
I mean, I did that one right at the beginning, that range 1 shot.
Uh-huh.
But since then, there's been no good opportunities.
Yeah, and obviously he's just tailor-made for dancing around. Now this seems like you're in a pretty good spot to finally block him.
Yeah, because I got some good.
Yeah, he doesn't
cover some good landscape.
Doesn't do him any good to do like a bank or a turn to the right. A turn to the left puts him on the rock. A bank probably does too. So, yeah, it looks like you're pretty much expecting him to go straight there and then try to boost around it or whatever.
Yeah. The problem is, it's range 3, so
yeah,
it's going to be auto thrust.
Yeah, this is one of those things where if you compare the aggressors to, like, let's say another large base like turret ship, that one that had to do the K turn around to be able to shoot, because it has to actually use a firing arc. Yeah. Since your K turns are obviously like 3 range or pretty far moves on top of being a big base ship, like you go so far that you can't help but have them be range 3.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a turreted ship in that same situation, it could have basically just done like a 1 or 2, but then they're gonna have auto thruster anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. But it just it's like it's sort of what they want. It kind of plays in their hands that they want to be getting shot back at range 3, so it's kind of okay for them to do that. It's just, again, it's similar to how Dash wants to fight from range 3 anyway, just for survivability sake.
And we were talking about in the last video about my getting away from the dice app.
Right.
This game I was heavily contemplating doing it.
Right.
Because if you want to count down the last how many times I get shots where my first shot is always 1 hit, regardless of how many dice I'm rolling. AKA, I'm rolling 4 dice at range 1 and still only get 1 hit.
Right.
Completely wasting the gunner. But, not wasting it, because at least I get to shoot again.
Right.
But, like, those opportunities where I'm actually rolling decent dice and still can't land a hit.
Yeah, you want to get a pretty good roll. Obviously you want to roll.
I want to, burn some.
But yeah, you want to put them in that situation where on that first one, it's like either you spend all your tokens and I get, another chance, but I stripped your tokens, or you have to take the 1 damage, which you're not going to do because it's a crit. with the Mangler. So
the
maybe
video
not range one.
the video shot forward just a little bit because our camera splits the video, so we had to But basically, I did a boost thinking that maybe he was going to do a 2 straight, and then he would ram into mine. And
but
then
he pulls the K-turn.
Yeah, but he pulls a K-turn, which is a great maneuver, and he gets a nice range 1 shot.
Yeah.
But he's also rolling terrible and only gets 2 hits, to which I immediately evade.
Right. Yeah, you don't expect them to actually do those K-turns too much. So, yeah, that was a good, it was a perfect spot to do it where he wasn't going to be getting shot at. And he was able to do it because you did block him on the previous round to try to, which in turn was the right thing to do to try to set yourself up to do some damage to him. It just, the dice didn't go that way. But
this is one of those turns
that was
where
a good way for him to make lemons and lemonade,
I could do Inertial Dampener right there and try again to get him to ram me.
Right.
And, thinking back to it now, I probably should have, but it was also a pretty decent opportunity to bust out the S-loop.
Yeah, and try it. Yeah.
Kind of pincer attack right here.
Yeah, you've got that overlapping arcs here that we were talking about to try to catch him from, both are a decent distance away too, where he's not right on top of one and easily dancing around it. It depends on, exactly how far he goes here.
I think he ended up doing that maneuver because he was also scared that I would Inertial Dampener, and that would have cleared my guy again.
Yep. Yeah, like a 2 straight or probably just about any of the other 2s. He'd either be running into him or just turning to his side of the board and being irrelevant. So, yeah. And now he's in a position where, he probably would have to forego getting a shot, but it looks like if he boosts down here and then maybe barrels, he can get out of this one's arc and then just get out of range of the other one.
How little you know of Steve. He's tokening up, range 1-ing.
Nice. Yeah, and, this game's long enough. It's one of those things where it gets difficult to have that much patience.
And that is the one that is down to no shields.
Yeah. And by the same token, if he keeps going like that, I don't know. I guess maybe he just feels at some point he needs to try to take one.
He has such an advantage against them if it's 1-on-1.
Definitely.
He gets 3 hits here, and I get 3 evades. So, bam, zoom, straight to the moon.
Yep.
All the tokens equal 3 evades.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, my greens are terrible. That was blank eyeball, but I had to focus on an evade token.
Yep, it sucks for him rolling a blank in there. That's where he really wanted to land 4.
There's my first shot, first shot 3 misses.
Yep, and he did roll a ton of evades there, so that's kind of a wasted roll for him.
Yeah. And then my second shot gets 2, but, it's not going to do damage.
Yeah, he's still got plenty. Now, you got that second shot, that second ship coming.
Yeah, the hope was that he was going to spin a token.
But he rolled 2 evades.
Yep.
All
right, he used.
Well, I guess okay, that's something.
Yeah.
So you're in decent shape here.
So I got a range 1 shot. Guess what? 1 hit.
Man.
And it doesn't do anything. So now I have to use the Mangler cannon.
So only 3.
So only 2 hits. And guess what?
Well, he's already got the evade for one of them, so he just had to roll 1.
Yep. And he gets out.
Yep. So that effectively was the same as him boosting and barreling and not getting shots.
Doing no shots. Now,
despite the fact there was several range 1s in there.
Now, if you're a fan of no shooting, just you wait.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
That's what I was suggesting would have led to no shooting on the previous turn, and probably for several rounds after because of just going around the asteroids and coming back around. And like I said, sometimes it's just difficult to have that level of patience, and that when you've got a game that is just going on for so long. Yeah,
you'll notice that we've sped this up because there was no shooting because we basically just bumped into each other.
Yeah, I like the Decimator cameo flying in there.
Yeah,
from one of the spectators.
Yep.
That was it. That made it because it was in fast forward. That just wouldn't have been the same if it wasn't.
Yeah, it would have been special.
That's the fastest Decimator you've ever seen.
It's doing the Kessel run.
Yeah. So now
I'm trying to regroup again, basically.
And he's going to be just, like I said, going around asteroids.
Yeah, trying to
doing the same thing.
Get more broadside, but not this round.
Yep.
So another round of no shooting.
Yeah, I think I would have not done the barrel roll there.
And keep it
just
dialed
to,
in.
have more options because if you look at it now, if he does it too hard to the right, that's maybe Asteroid Town. Two bank is kind of close to it too if he's trying to pursue the aggressor that's kind of up in near the corner there.
Yeah.
So
there's actually another good opportunity to inertial dampener with the one that's higher up.
It's one of those things where not only did the push and limit there limit his options on maneuvers, but because he barrel rolled there, like from his old position, a 2-turn wouldn't have put him on the rock.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, now it's not just that it limited the maneuvers, but of those maneuvers from this position, they're not good. From the previous position, everything was good, basically.
And basically, I'm just setting up not for this turn at all. I'm waiting for probably 2 turns
Right. It
from
looks
now
like
when
the
I
one
can
you
actually
just moved is probably going to S-turn back towards where you are.
kind of telegraphing that.
Yeah.
End up doing target lock because I know he's probably not shooting at that when he's going forward.
Yeah, the other one's the one that's...
Because, again, it was a risk. If I had inertial dampener and he did a right,
yeah,
then he rams into my guy. And I'd probably get a, tokenless sooner that maybe I get to shoot at with the other guy.
So the one that he's about to be shooting at here is the one that has the more damage on it, and it's down to 4 health?
No. The high one is...
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, because it does seem like that would be kind of dangerous to be kind of giving them that while the other one's, setting up for a while.
Especially since I know that this one's got... that's why I push the limit with, token up.
Yeah.
And Steve continues to roll terrible and gets 2 hits. 2 hits after the focus.
Jeez.
And I,
get a couple of aids.
Yeah.
Or...
Easy
I
peasy.
guess you had to spin...
Yeah.
Oh, you're not shooting back down.
Yeah,
so
easy
that's just the
peasy. I'll
round.
spin them all. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Now, yeah, that's one of those things where maybe you could have gotten away with the 1 token and then been able to K-turn this turn. But by the same time, at the same time, he was rolling 4 dice. He just got a bad roll. You probably was a good call to make sure you had all your defenses in place.
Yeah, the peanut gallery was suggesting targeting computers instead of stealth device.
For Soontir, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that stealth device basically keeps him alive.
Right. And it's not just about, this one game. I mean, because he has only been shot at
Once.
a couple times so far.
Yeah.
Now, without the stealth device, the damage might have gotten through. But,
yeah, those range 1 shots I took at him would have probably, gotten through at least 1 damage.
yeah, but even outside of this one game or whatever, I'm sure the stealth device was far more useful against other decimators and things like that than...
Well, especially since he's basically replacing a phantom.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to be able to survive, first and foremost. That's job numero uno. Obviously, you want him to be able to do damage as much as possible, and it is always frustrating with Soontir to basically roll those 4 dice when you get that range 1 and you have a focus and you roll like 2 blanks.
Yeah.
I've been there lots of times, and so you're always going to wish you had that targeting computer, but and more so on him than any other interceptor, just because he essentially gets 3 actions, he could kind of afford to use it.
Yeah.
But you just don't have the space for it.
And you can see me come on back around,
Yeah.
get my boys back together, getting the band back together.
Right. Yeah, he's still able to pursue one of them, it looks like.
Yeah, with a useless range 3 shot. And not even.
I like the old reverse barrel roll there.
Yeah, back up.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's the patience is wearing thin and stuff. It's a tournament that's been going on a while. This game's been going on a while.
He's like, hey, 3 hits. And I go, hey, 3 evades.
Yep. Didn't matter anyway.
Yep.
I'll let you barrel roll wherever the heck you please.
Please, yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you shots. It's funny is like we've played in much longer tournaments. It's not like, you're just getting weary from that. Like tournaments of 5 or 6 Swiss rounds, especially regional where we're in a top 8. The one that he won last year. I mean, we've played events that were a lot longer than this. This tournament probably ended up being about, 8 or 9 hours, but some of those events have been 12,
Yeah, easy.
So, or even just by this point, this is the last store championship of the season here. Some of us, missed a couple here, a couple there, but as a group, we've had at least somebody playing in like 7 of them by this point. So several of us probably played in at least like 4 or 5 of them. So it's not so much that, it's just that this one particular game, as it gets close to an hour and a half, that's kind of a different animal, like you're not having you finish that one taxing game where you're having to deal with this ship dancing around that ship, and then you go outside for 10 minutes and get that break, and then you come in and start fresh.
Yeah.
So that's probably starting to wear on him, especially because he is probably jonesing for a smokerette.
Yeah, because I don't think we even really, in between top 4 and the final, we didn't
have a break.
Didn't really stop. It was just setup time. Because, like I said, like the store had already basically closed.
Yeah.
They closed the registers by top 4. And so at this point, they're literally just sitting there, like, watching League of Legends.
Yeah, but it's Sunday. That's why. They close early. It's still only, like, probably about,
It's like 10 something.
10 o'clock, yeah.
I think we get out of there like 10:45 or something like that.
Yeah. So this isn't one of those tournaments
Yeah, it's
where
not like a 1 o'clock.
finals is at 2 in the morning or something.
Yeah.
It's just Sunday. I mean, this store, had it been on Saturday, they're open at this location till 1 a.m. on Saturdays. So that's just is what it is, I guess.
There's more third parties trying to use our lasers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Heating, measuring, and everything.
Steve being super excited about range 3 shots.
Oh, yeah.
No damage.
Just like, what's the point?
Yeah, he started saying that quite often. This is pointless. This is pointless.
Yeah, it sounds like one of the other people from our group, Joe, with how he feels about shooting at most of these ships in this day and age.
Well, it is kind of true.
Yeah. Yep, it's we were talking about this in our last video, how when no ships ended up dying and you had the aggressors shaking off all this damage from the Falcon. Just how many of these ships are about mitigating damage these days, and whether it be just from arc dodging or from having a bunch of greens and other cards like their defensive upgrades, or both. It's usually both.
Yeah.
But the aggressors fall into that category with their slippery maneuvering and Autothrusters. The interceptors, of course, fall into that category. The Phantoms, at least for the time being. Even the Falcon, even something like that doesn't have all the greens or that sort of thing. It's just if it gets in a situation where it's only being shot once a round with C-3PO and the title, God forbid R2-D2 on there.
Lone Wolf.
Yeah, like there's all that. Corn Horn, again, he doesn't have an auto thruster or something like that, but he's got a lot of green dice, and if you just don't get enough damage on him at once, he sometimes he takes the damage, but then he just runs away and charges it back up. So there's a lot of that, and
Steve manning up for another range 1 volley.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and we mentioned how the easiest way to counter that sort of thing is just to get several shots on the same target in a round. But if you play a bunch of ships, that means you're playing low pilot skill guys, and all of a sudden now you're just getting arc dodge. So it's just kind of a part of life at the moment that you have to. It's all about trying to use these 2-ship builds to and you're reaping all those same benefits where you're hard to kill. But
I see, I just lost my shields.
Yeah, that's something. That's a palpable hit by these standards.
It's only 2. That shield fell off. I mean, because when I lose shields, I throw them in the box. I don't leave anything to chance.
Yeah.
But
still 2 damage in 1 shot is like astronomical.
But I do have 2 shots here. First one's not it's not terrible.
Yeah. The other thing is
2 hits.
The other thing is it's a turn where you have both shots,
and Steve continued to roll too many evade dice.
Yeah, but he did at least. He only had the 1 focus because he moved or whatever, or he did a boost or whatever. But and he actually spent it on offense just to make sure he could do any damage.
Yeah.
So now at least you have all these shots where he's just got the evade token, and he's only auto thrustering versus 1 guy.
Again, rolling too many dice.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't help. But I actually he only got a ranged 2 shot at my aggressor, but I actually got a range 1 because of
the angle on it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But guess what? How many hits I roll on the first roll? That's right, 1.
Mm-hmm.
So then I switch back to Mangler.
You can maybe push a crit through here against the evade token.
2 hits.
Does he whiff all blanks?
No damage.
Nope. It's so promising seeing both of them have an arc there. Because that's what I was about to say. Like, it just comes down to
I was like,
trying to have those turns where your two-ship build has both shots, and then
it's like now I have to reset the situation again, and now suddenly none of my ships have shields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess like you said, you have that one shield there, but it's just kind of hiding. But they, yeah, it takes you so much time and effort to set this up.
Yeah, that was like 4 turns of me zipping around.
Time to do that again. Well, and here you go again.
Now I start going, I'm going to try to block him because...
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. It's weird to feel like you're using a ship just to block in a 2-ship build, but...
it actually becomes quite important.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do here. If he's sitting there with no tokens, I'd rather just have the one ship shooting at him with no tokens than having, the two... and then having them all armored up. I mean, it's at least about the same. You're still probably a little bit better off having both shots, but it's
I mean, look how confident I am. I focus target lock.
Yeah.
But of course he doesn't ram it.
Yeah, that 2-turn is gonna clear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also one of those interesting things where I'd have to go back and watch pretty much the whole video again, but see if maybe there were some times like we were talking before where maybe you could have gotten away with doing some extra target locks, even on turns where you weren't actually like setting it up, for the future.
Instead of just throwing out evades.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is because I really just don't know where
he's going
Soontir's going to end up. Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and if he's even a threat to do something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You want both actions.
It's like I never want to see that. That's the worst thing ever.
It's like ironically, this is one time you did target lock where maybe you wish you had just evaded.
Yeah, because now I'm going to get popped.
But. A couple of those maybe makes a difference.
Steve continues to roll terrible, 2 hits. But he does, he gets 3 hits actually, and I only roll 1 evade, so.
Nice. So there's
so there's
that
2
one's
damage.
down to like 2 health, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that is dicey because if one of those falls,
yeah,
it's still going to take a while, but he's pretty much got you dead to rights if it's 1-on-1 with this.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that at that point. Because somebody's like, man, this is going to take forever. I'm like, no, he's going to kill that one, and then it's going to take 5 more hours, but then the game's going to be over.
Yeah. If there's only one of them, he can kind of stay on it and probably keep fire on it more or less every turn and be out of arc, and you can take it down fairly quickly.
So I'm basically just I'm not even caring about actions. I just want to get him in arc, so I just ran myself right there.
Yeah, and... Oh, okay, so then that one does too, yeah.
Yeah, so they both ram into each other, and then I finally catch him.
Yeah, and that does prevent him from shooting at the one that's lowest health.
Yep.
Since that's the one that actually blocks him.
Ye old boxer hug.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sometimes.
And he also doesn't have an arc.
Yep.
So I just get that.
Very nice.
Get that. Blast him.
Yep. And that'll probably be range 1. Since it's just over the top of the other ship.
Yeah.
So here's your chance. Range 1, no tokens.
It's like, yeah, but I was like, man, how many times have I range 1 him so far? And roll one hit.
Right. Well, there's 1. But now this is where he screws up and evades it, and then you roll 3 hits, I bet. That always seems like it happens.
But, I accidentally turned it to a crit.
Yeah,
and he was like,
he's primary.
Like, yeah, he's like, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
But I changed it back.
Oh, by the way. Oh, I don't know when you got 1 hit.
Yep, 1 hit.
I gotta just pick him up. And he rolls 1 evade. Awesome. Yeah. I like how he's like, yeah, that was primary. You don't get to change that. And it's like, oh, right. Like, what about the 3 times you rolled an extra green on that? We forgot.
But here's the thing, Travis. You're wrong.
Right. So we continue onward. We push onward. Continuing once more into the breach.
Yep.
Slugging through it. Back to maneuvering. And the decimator coming in for a kiss or whatever that was.
He's going to make his standard appearance.
Right.
I'm missing my 1 range mover.
It's just to remind people there was another ship on the board at some point in this game.
Yeah. Somebody kept moving my box of maneuver templates.
Nice.
Every single time I went back to maneuver, I'm like,
Yeah, they're trying to grab
they're trying to watch, and I'm like, can I maneuver?
Yeah, it would be easy to forget that this was not a 1-ship build with just Soontir. Once upon a time, there was another ship here. And then Steve, it was like forever ago.
Steve busts out another K turn, which again,
it's a pretty good spot for it.
Yeah, gets him in a good position.
Yeah, there's some range 3 Manglering coming in, but from the other one in a minute.
Yeah, and he's got no tokens.
So that does, again, sound promising.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, he takes...
Okay, so now we're down to 3 on that one and 2 on the other one.
Yep.
That is pretty scary.
Yeah, the one shield and...
Soontir's still flying around unscathed.
Why don't you wait about a minute?
Right. So, here we go. Okay.
Target lock.
Oh, there it is.
3
it's
hits.
That target lock.
Yep, 3 hits. No
there
tokens. Take a crit.
Oh my goodness.
Lose your stealth device.
Yep, stealth device is gone. And, now we end up getting, there was just the crit that got through, right?
Yeah, there's
Oh, right, and it's a minor explosion. Roll for that. Boom.
Yeah.
Poor man's direct hit right there. 2 damage on him.
But that's not what I'm happy about. I'm happy he doesn't have a stealth device anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm also in a pretty good position because the guy that's not shooting right now didn't have stress. So he could easily S-turn or even regular K-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Which I S-turn because it gives me the broadest arc.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially you can fit down there. I was just from looking on the camera, I didn't think he was gonna fit in that one. But you can't tell where the edge is. But yeah, that's very nice. I was thinking you were talking about just going the other way or whatever. That's like 10 times better. And this one's just kind of sitting right there.
Do 1 token up because he's still pretty low still.
Yeah, right now Soontir's in that position. He's either basically going to turn right into one of these and then, have the other one shooting at him.
Yeah.
Or just kind of be like right in the middle of them. Yeah, like he's basically between a rock and a hard place here.
And he basically,
everything's falling apart.
He basically just decides to just token up and try to weather the storm.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal there. He doesn't have a lot of options. If he had done...
If
he had done like a 4 straight and was, then he could boost and barrel roll out probably, but...
He could probably get out of 1 arc, but have no tokens and basically just have the focus.
There's a lot of like stuff being knocked around, and some of it's by people that aren't even playing.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure about this barrel roll here. I don't get that one. Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Because it doesn't want to be range 2 on both of them. Well, because that aggressor is pretty low.
I guess that gets him a shot. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about him trying to live. Yeah, I guess he didn't have an arc before that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But now he doesn't want to... Well, I guess he is going to spend the focus, but you got to be pretty wary about that.
I say you're trying to kill him.
Yeah. Is that the one that has 2 health, I guess?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wishful thinking, but...
I could spend the token and have 2 health left, and I was like, I'll just take the 1 hit.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to keep the focus target lock.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Range 1.
Yeah.
Please go away.
Just try to end this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, now he rolls all blanks.
Yep. Finally, after that many hours, he finally rolls all blanks.
Yeah, when you have all these, good shots on him or whatever.
So I end up winning, 100 to nothing for all that matters.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, for the very final game.
The important part is just that stuff died in this game.
Yep.
There was actually ships that came off the board, unlike our last video. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Winning this store championship. You get your fancy credit card buy, whatever those things are.
And sweet plaque.
The sweet plaque. And some store credit. Cool stuff threw in as additional prize support for this. Because cool stuff is cool.
Yeah, they basically give away all of the money they collected for entry fees.
Yep, they're a huge online presence. People buy from their site, Cool Stuff Inc. all the time. Here's some free plugs for them. Not that they need it.
Yeah, well, we play in their store, so
yeah,
they
we're down there all the time. They own my wallet. Like Fancy Fight owns my wallet through Cool Stuff.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how it works. They each have a piece of it and they just share it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for this tournament.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, all that cool stuff.
Like us. Yep. See you next time.